the shadows, down low. You don't know what I'm going through, don't know what I'm going through. It's down low, down low. You don't know what I'm going through, don't know what I'm going.
Hey, welcome back TPL Nation for another draft analysis video, and in this one today we have the Jamaican Jolteons, coached by the one and only trainer Lincoln. And this team is fat. Like, I was going through it and like it's just it's disgusting, the things that I know Lincoln is planning for this team. And now with the new sudden death rules, he is in full force to just well, put his opponent through hell and probably still win games. But we're going to start off with Jolteon here. I like the choice spec set. I don't know if this is something he likes to run or he will run, but it can put up some good damage with 110 special attack, 130 speed, so it's ridiculously fast. Volt switch choice spec should be able to pivot around the opponent's team while also putting on some chip. There's not much else to say about Jolteon. I do have Hyper Voice in the last slot just because I wasn't sure of a good special move for it to use outside of what it already has, because its move pool is kind of shallow. Not a whole lot of other stuff to use, as you can see. But I could definitely see Jolteon coming in with like some niche moves like maybe Charm or even Yawn, because it does get those moves just as an evolution. But Jolteon, kind of like a one-trick pony here. I imagine as the mascot for the Jolteons, it's just here to put out a little bit of damage output and you know, just carry the team with a nice chivalrous mascot. Now, as we move on to a Pokemon that isn't so chivalrous, we have Quagsire with Scald, Earthquake, Toxic, and Haze. And this is going to be some good Quagsire set right here. Unaware, so he doesn't care about your stat boosts. And, you know, Quagsire can do a few different things. Get some burns with Scald, Toxic, and just stall you. It's a disgusting Pokemon, let's be honest here. It's going to be hard for some teams to break through it without some grass moves, and honestly, if you have a grass Pokemon, chances are you might not even see Quagsire in front of it, because the Jolteons have plenty of other annoying Pokemon that they can throw to a grass move, absolutely. And one of those Pokemon that can switch in on a grass move pretty safely is the Appleton. This thing is very, very sturdy. It has cover and Leech Seed for recovery. I did throw a Guava Berry on there just to pair with that Ripen ability, so if it does fall into that less than a quarter of HP status through maybe getting a crit or catching something that Lincoln wasn't expecting, Ripen a Guava will bring this thing almost back up to 3/4 HP probably. And serving is almost a second life for Appleton if this thing doesn't get one shot. And then we do have Apple Acid Draco Meteor just for some dual stab, which could actually get pretty strong with 100 base special attack. And then I definitely see Apple Acid dropping the Spadef of your opponent, and then coupled with Draco Meteor. It's definitely an annoying type Pokemon here. But it does have some other interesting moves as we scroll by. Could get setup screens. I doubt he runs a physical, but he could. It does have the moves for that. But as we go through, just not a whole lot. I think he did bring Rollout, or maybe that was the guy with Flapple. I can't remember 100%, but Appleton can definitely be a very annoying Pokemon to try to break through, and it pairs with Quagsire really good. It's just that Ice type switch in. And as we move into other things through this, I think you'll see that Appleton doesn't really need to worry about ice moves. Another very defensive Pokemon for Lincoln's team is the Weezing. I have Galar Weezing just because I feel like that will probably be more useful for him to not really worry about certain abilities with neutralizing gas. He could run Levitate for like a ground immunity, but honestly, with Appleton and Quagsire running around, he has other Pokemon to soak up the ground moves. Neutralizing gas, not worrying about threatening abilities like Rain or something. He could throw this out versus a Pelipper and shut down Drizzle. Drizzle just wouldn't activate, which would be pretty cool. With Black Sludge, it is that poison type leftovers, which I feel like is something that, if there's any like noticeable weakness on this really fat team, I definitely say that it's the item clause of only being able to use one leftovers. But with Strange Steam, Sludge Bomb, Defog, and Toxic Spikes, I just gave it the dual stab, as well as being able to set hazards and clear hazards, and I feel like that's probably going to be one of the main MOs for Weezing on the Jolteon's team, is just to set up Toxic Spikes to annoy and pester and chip away at the opponent. As we move down through here, we do have interesting moves like Explosion and Destiny Bond, maybe to systematically eliminate an annoying Pokemon from the opponent's team. Memento could come out, probably not though, since Weezing's on a little bit more bulkier. I doubt Lincoln would want something to just die just to weaken up something, but it's there in case he needs it. We keep moving. We do see Pain Split, something to get some extra HP back. I could definitely see him running that over something like Defog if he doesn't really worry about entry hazards too much. And that's another thing with Weezing having the neutralizing gas. It is a grounded poison type, which is really good because it clears Toxic Spikes on switch in. But as we move through, we do see pretty good special attacking moves. You got Shadow Ball there, the poison types, the Strange Steam, Thunderbolt, really good techs in Will-O-Wisp and Toxic as well. You can definitely see him packing those. But as we go down through, there is Corrosive Gas for some nice item removal. Maybe if he doesn't want something to have an item, he could remove it with that. Maybe if there's something on the opponent's team with like heavy duty boots that he wants to get poisoned, he could use that. But it's some definitely interesting sets. Stockpile could be interesting. Weezing might not want to sit in front of something, but honestly his team isn't super threatened by stuff trying to set up because Quagsire's in the back. But obviously I think Galarian, Weezing, Appleton, and Quagsire are just going to be a super fat core for anybody to try to work through. We do move into another fairy type Pokemon in Sylveon. And honestly, I just have an Assault Vest Sylveon just for the giggles here. Not really meant to sweep through opponents' teams, but I think Sylveon just coming in, eating a special hit. This is also another Pokemon that could probably safely switch into like an Ice Beam for Appleton or a Grass move for Quagsire. Sylveon's not going to really care about physical hits with 130 base special defense and 95 HP. Rocking an Assault Vest just exacerbates that. And with Hyper Voice, with the Pixelate ability, it is going to turn into a fairy move and get a little bit of a boost, only 1.2, but that's basically like the boost of, let's say, like a Twisted Spoon or a Charcoal. It's like that, like respectable. It's that respectable boost. So this Sylveon will get a little bit of boost from that. Also, it gets the new move in Mystical Fire, and with Psyshock and Shadow Ball. Can also put in some really good work with those coverage moves. As we move down through, the Sylveon could do a lot of different things. You could see it run screens. Heal Bell support could be very annoying. Honestly, if his game is to run Toxic Spikes, he could run Protect on all of his Pokemon to just be even more annoying. He has Wish and Yawn, so this thing could Wish Pass. You know, I did talk about how he can only use one Leftovers and one Black Sludge, but honestly, he has a ton of Pokemon that can Wish Pass into his other Pokemon to help heal them back from the brink of death. He does have other options in Charm and Baby Doll Eyes. Moving down, Draining Kiss could be an interesting one to just get HP back on Sylveon. While it might not be a lot of HP, it is some HP, and complemented by that Assault Vest, I could definitely see that being annoying. As we keep running down, not too much else. Psych Up could be interesting if he wants to copy some stat changes instead of just ignore them with Quagsire. But that's just about it. I think Sylveon's going to be another Pokemon that's very annoying because he has Steel type and Poison type switch-ins already on his team. So as we move on to Wigglytuff, so originally I didn't know what to do with Wigglytuff, but I just decided to make the most disgusting set I could think of, and to me, what is more disgusting than just the OG Toxic Stall? This thing has Toxic, Stockpile, Wish, and Protect. I really like this set because if it wants to sit in on a Pokemon and Toxic it can, and it can easily stall it out with Wish Protect. It can pass wishes off into other things, and after a couple stockpiles it just gets ridiculously bulky. But as we scroll down through here, we see some other moves that it could use. You know, it does have some other tools it can use. Of course, being a normal type, it's going to get access to a ton of coverage. Once again, we see Heal Bell for support. Knockoff to remove items could be useful. Screens again. Perish Song. Originally I was looking at Perish Song, but there's not really a whole lot of ways for Wigglytuff to trap something in against it. And then Seismic Toss could be interesting just to chip away at the opponent. Stealth Rock gives him another entry hazard option with that. Thunder Wave could be super annoying. It also gets teleport support for what that is worth. Just all around can be an annoying Pokemon if Lincoln plays it right. And Lincoln's a really good battler, I feel. With moves like Charm, he can really cripple physical attacking moves. You could honestly see that coming into play with Stockpile, like first charming so the opponent is crippled, and then setting up the stockpiles to get super bulky, and then just Wish Protect, Wish Protect, Wish Protect, and you just can't kill this thing. But as we move down, we see some other moves as disposal, like Double Team, which could be very annoying. Draining Kiss, which could be very annoying. You know, not too much else besides that, but I feel like Wigglytuff has more than enough weapons to make it a very annoying thing that he may or may not bring. You know, and I just feel like this is just adding on to what we've already seen of just a very annoying team. And like it's definitely more of the stall play style. He could run this stuff more offensive, but I really doubt he will, seeing as he kind of had his strategy buffed with the new timer rules added. Like if he has 5 Pokemon at the end of the timer and his opponent has 5, I mean, they just go right back into sudden death. All of his stuff's getting healed back up, and it just continues to do what it does best, just stalling, weakening, whittling down the opponent, shrugging off damage, healing back up. It's very annoying. And we move on to another Pokemon. Now, honestly enough, I was running out of items for like leftovers and stuff. I suppose you could put Life Orb on this. Altaria is a Pokemon I really didn't know what to do. It's really not that great. It's a little speedy with 80 base speed, but not too much. Natural Cure letting it shrug off statuses. And it has Dragon Claw, Play Rough, Dual Wing Beat just for some interesting attacks, but I don't really think Lincoln will probably use this for that. He might use this to soak up some status. I know this thing does get Cotton Guard and Roost, so that could be super annoying. As we move down through, it does have access to some pretty annoying stuff. We see Heal Bell again, so honestly I think that's like 3 clerics so far for Lincoln's team, so it's going to be really hard to wear down his team. We see Moonblast, Outrage, Perish Song could be an interesting one to maybe force a switch out, or maybe Altaria sacrificing itself so he can kill a potential Dynamax Pokemon or something that's really strong, that's spiraling out of control with its boosts. We do see Tailwind, which could come into play, but I doubt it. His team is really just going to be chipping away at the opponent, so I doubt extra speed would really help with that. Not much else as we go down through here, just kind of more of the same, weaker attacks than what we've already seen. There's kind of better options for pretty much everything down here. Sing could be an interesting option that we might see from him. But other than that, there's not much else to say about Altaria. It does give him another quad weakness to Ice. So I feel like out of all these Pokemon, we will probably see Altaria less. And then we move on to his last member, but definitely not the least, in Audino. And I really like this set for his team. Heavy Duty Boots Regenerator with Hyper Voice, Wish Protect, and Shadow Ball. And this is just here to help him get his HP back on his Pokemon. With only one leftovers being able to use, I feel like Wish Passers are going to be something that's going to be very useful for his team. And he's got a few of them with Wigglytuff, Sylveon, and Audino. So I think this thing could be super annoying. Heavy Duty Boost to just ignore hazards. Throwing off Wish Protects, Regenerator, making sure it just doesn't die. And I think Audino can be a super annoying support Pokemon. And to be honest, you don't even have to run Shadow Ball. Like, I bet this thing gets Heal Bell as well. So yeah, you could do Heal Bell. And honestly, if he just wanted to use this for pure support, he could run Healing Wish. Just because if he wanted to bring something back from the brink of death, he could with Healing Wish, in case he just doesn't see himself being able to switch it in safely to get the Wish off onto it. But Audino can definitely just support this very bulky strategy that Lincoln has going for him so far. He has Annoying Text and Encore. Obviously, being a normal type, it gets a plethora, you could say, of coverage moves. As we go in, it does have access to stuff like knockoff screens, which could be super annoying. Rest, just some other stuff like Thunder Wave, Toxic, just more of the same for his team. Trick Room could be interesting. I doubt he brings a Trick Room team, but he definitely could. Yawn to put stuff to sleep could be very annoying. We keep moving down, and of course, oddly enough, I thought this Pokemon would have Charm, but it doesn't, so we are going to note the Baby Doll eyes on it. There's not a whole lot else that I see. Life Dew could be interesting if he just wants to heal Audino, but honestly, Regenerator would do that a lot better, now that I think about it. And I think that's going to be just about it. We do see Sweet Kiss, but honestly, I think Yawn would just be an overall better move for this. So that's just about it on his team. So it's a lot of fat coupled with more fat and just a little extra fat on the side. Plus a Jolteon. So overall, just for team composition, I'm probably gonna give this like a 7. And normally I wouldn't rate like bulkier, stallier teams that high, but this one is just very well put together. It's going to be hard for opponents to get through this. You have Toxic Absorbers with Wheezing, Hazard Absorbers and with Wheezing able to defog, so a very good support Pokemon there. You have Wish support on Wish support on Wish support. So, he can definitely make sure that the longevity of this team, is just really up to snuff with anything that the opponent might throw out. The only thing I will say why it doesn't get a higher rating for me at 7 is because there's a lot of offense in the league, and he might find himself kind of battling with that on some weeks. There are quite a few threats that the opponent could throw his way, and I'm just not sure if Lincoln will be able to take them all down. And without offense of his own, really, pretty much the most offensive mons he has are like Sylveon, Jolteon, and maybe Appleton. You could argue Appleton, but that's kind of about it. I don't really see a designated Dynamax on this team. Obviously, Appleton does have the Gigantamax ability, but I feel like if this thing did Gigantamax, it'd just be better off staying at its normal form so it can still recover and Leech Seed and just do all of its horrendous, eating of attacks and then chipping away at the opponent. But it's a good team overall, and I think Lincoln's going to have a good time doing what his team does best and just chipping away his opponents and getting W's that way. So I'll see you guys in the next draft analysis video. I've been Ace Trainer Ryan. Peace.